Welcome to the Hotelligence Podcast, your strategic vantage point on the changing landscape of hotel safety. Hosted by Jim Kortz, a retired FBI DHS investigator, and Don Carr, a former frontline security owner-operator with years of first-hand incident response experience on hotel properties. Every episode brings you closer to understanding the full picture and what the future may hold. Let's begin.
Welcome to the Hotelligence Podcast. This is Season 3, Episode 4.
On the last episode, we stood at the counter. We talked about the moment a refusal gets said out loud.
That's right, Jim. And today, nothing gets said at all.
Because today is about a change that happens in silence.
A guest checks in for a few nights, the stay extends, then extends again.
And somewhere in there, in most states, the guest stops being a guest.
And almost no property notices the night it happens. So the stay that keeps extending, well, it never starts as a long stay.
Yeah, maybe it's a work crew in town for a project, or a family between houses, or just someone whose plans changed.
Yeah, a few nights becomes a week. The week rolls, the folio just keeps extending.
Yeah, the front desk sees a reliable room being rented. Revenue sees steady occupancy.
Yeah, and nobody sees really a legal status that's quietly forming.
Because no alarm goes off, no form appears, no system has flagged it.
Right. And that's what makes this different from really everything else in this season. Because the refusal at the counter was a moment. Could be loud, usually visible, sometimes witnessed. This is the opposite. A change with really no moment at all. The stay on night 20 looks identical to the stay on night 19. Same room, same guest, same rate. But in many jurisdictions, somewhere in that stretch, the relationship can cross a line. And the property that never looked for the line really has no idea which side of it they're on.
So let's talk about how a guest and a tenant are different things. A hotel guest occupies a room under a license.
Yes, the property grants it and the property can revoke it.
And that's why a hotel can lock out a guest who doesn't pay or remove one who breaks the rules.
A tenant, well, that's a totally different legal creature in and of itself.
Yeah, a tenant has possession rights, right? Removing a tenant means there's a legal process, a notice, filings, court is involved.
That's correct. And the tools the property is used to holding, well, those really don't work anymore.
Right. And what moves someone from one category to the other varies by each state.
So day counts in some places, indicators in others, length of stay, mail delivered to the room, no other residence, payments that start to look like rent.
Yeah, so let's hold on to that phrase, different in kind, right? So this is not a guest with extra seniority. It's a different legal relationship with different rules. Everything the property assumes it can do, the lockout, the immediate removal, the revoked key, assumes there's a license there. Once the relationship becomes a tenancy, those assumptions are just wrong. Acting on them can be unlawful, and the property rarely gets a ruling in advance. It finds out which relationship it had at the exact moment it tries to end one.
Yeah, and that can sound far-fetched for some, maybe, Jim, but the reality is it's not, right? The property's own paperwork can make the case. So the evidence for a tenancy usually comes from the property's own records.
Yeah, the record showing 90 consecutive nights.
Or maybe billing that quietly moved from a daily or weekly cadence to a monthly cadence.
A receipt where someone typed the word rent.
Or say mail that's accepted at the front desk on behalf of the room or a package, and then more regular deliveries over time.
Or a registration card listing the hotel as the guest's address.
None of it was really a decision in and of itself, but really all of it's just documentation. So this season keeps returning to one idea, and it's the record is what remains. Episode 1 said the record is what defends the property. This is the other edge of the same sword. The record can also build a case the property never meant to make. Every extended folio, every monthly invoice, every accepted package is the property describing, really in its own handwriting, a relationship that looks less like hospitality and more like housing. And nobody at the desk was making a legal statement in the moment, because that paperwork, well, it was really quietly making it for them the whole time.
So let's talk about the night the property finds out, because that discovery almost always happens the same way.
Yeah, the property decides the stay should end. Payment stopped, or the room is needed, or say there was an incident.
And it reaches for the usual tool: deactivate the key, remove their belongings, really standard procedures.
Yeah, except for the person on the other side of the door says a sentence the property wasn't expecting.
Right. I live here.
Right. And if the stay has crossed that line, that sentence has law behind it.
The lockout the property's done 100 times before is suddenly a different act with a different name.
Yep. And the property learns really in real time that the relationship changed weeks ago.
Yeah, notice when the discovery happens. At the end, under pressure, mid-removal. It's the worst possible moment to learn what the relationship became. The properties that navigate this well are not the ones with a clever response at the door. They're the ones whose structure noticed the stay while it was still just a stay. So this is the season's thesis wearing different clothing, right? So by the time the moment is urgent, the question was already answered. The only thing left to discover is what that answer was. So in closing, no bell rings on the night that a guest becomes a tenant.
That's right, Jim. The room looks the same. The folio looks the same.
But the tools the property thinks it holds have changed on the other side of the door.
That's right. The license quietly became possession.
The checkout became an eviction.
And the property's own records, well, those were the things keeping track.
Somewhere tonight, a folio quietly rolls into another week.
That's right. And nobody in the building can tell you what night it is.
That's Season 3, Episode 4 of the Hotelligence Podcast.
So next time we pick up the most routine piece of paper in the building, the registration card, filled out in 30 seconds, filed and forgotten, and a legal document the whole time. And remember, we're in this together.
And together, we make hospitality stronger.
Thank you for joining the Hotelligence Podcast, where experience informs smarter, safer hotel operations and prepares you for what comes next. Stay informed, stay confident, and stay connected. As the conversation evolves, Jim Cords and Don Carr will highlight developments that help hotels strengthen their approach to safety and risk management. See you next episode.